You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, today we have a true honor talking to two special guests today. Today, we have an honor talking to CNN anchor and chief political correspondent Dana Bash and co-author David Fisher. And we're going to be talking about their book, America's Deadliest Election. First and foremost, how you both are doing this morning?
Great. Good morning. How are you?
All is well. And I want to start with you, Dana. When it comes to the book, what inspired you to write this, and why is this a timely message for readers to really appreciate?
Well, what inspired me to write this is who inspired me, and it's the other guy you're talking to, David Fisher, who came to me with this idea. And as soon as he told me about it, I thought, oh my gosh, first of all, I think about this time in history. And second of all, this is a story that we need to tell. And it's a story, as the book cover says, it's a cautionary tale about the most violent election in history. But it's also a cautionary tale about what happens when the electoral system does not work and the voters and society lose confidence in that. And you have leaders, which you did back then, who are encouraging violence in order to stay in power. And the key thing to know about this book is that everything that happened in 1872 was there was a direct cause between that and the horrific Jim Crow laws that we saw in the South for 100 years.
And David, let's pick up on that, because the impact of the Colfax Massacre, the events that happened in the 1872 election, with the violence that took place and in the political climate, when you look at that and look at the times we're in today with the division that we're seeing, what lessons could we learn from history?
Well, there is a phrase that we all know, and it's basically those who ignore the lessons of history are doomed to repeat it. And this is history shouting at us. The parallels between then and now, literally in some cases, word for word, crowds in the street screaming, hang him, assassination attempts where the response is almost word for word as Trump responded. And so we're all at this point thinking we know where we are now today and wondering what happens next. And this almost exact same set of circumstances led to widespread violence, led to the most contentious presidential election that could not be decided by voters, and ended up having one man decide who the president of the United States was going to be, and ended Reconstruction and changed America for 100 years. So the consequences of what we are looking at today are astonishing. And this is an extraordinary lesson that we all should be paying attention to.
And also, Dana, back in those days, there were even roles of media that newspapers played, and they played a significant role back. And then how did that also play a role of the responsibility and how that is managed? What is so important about media playing the role and being responsible with how they report?
Well, we've been talking over the last several years about the media being so fractured and increasingly partisan, and people getting their information from sources that agree with them, and people not being as exposed as they should be to not only information that is counter to their beliefs, but objective information. And that was the case back then. There were so many newspapers that printed multiple times a day. Information was starting to flow more freely because of the advent of the telegraph. And the papers were partisan. They had a point of view. And they really did help to make the strife even more intense, because like today, back then, if you believed in the segregationist South, you would pick up a paper that would amplify your thoughts and help to support the candidates and the ideals that amplified your thoughts. If you did not believe in that, you did the same on the other side. And so that was a huge part of the strife, because the real facts were hard to find.
And David, knowing the history, the facts of history, what steps could be taken today to bridge the divide between different political beliefs and opinions, and how can we prevent history from repeating itself?
That's a tough question. Part of it is the choice of political candidates. Politicians can either bring us together as a nation, or they can divide us. And that's the choice that I think we really have in this election. Both parties have fringe elements. And when those fringe elements, either the far right or the far left, get control, they take extreme steps. And it's my opinion that we're all just better off governed from the middle with two strong parties and competing ideas, as opposed to radical ideas from either side.
We've been talking to our special guest today, CNN Chief Political Correspondent Dana Bash and David Fisher, in the book America's Deadliest Election, the cautionary tale of the most violent election in American history. I want to thank you both for your time. I know you're busy. Have a great day.
Thank you so much for having us. Great to talk to you.
Thank you.